Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing very well. My name is Frank, as always, and you join me today. Well, we were combining, and we're not anymore. We are stuck in the field, and now we're over in the new land here, which is way out west from the farm. The farm is kind of like right over that way, really, by about 5k, and we're stuck. We're not physically stuck, but I have run into a bit of an issue. I was going to pull back. As you can see, we're halfway around the second headland here, really. This is one of the new blocks of land. This field itself is about 25 acres. This is a bigger block, one of the bigger fields that we farm. And just came to unload, and I can't. So the bearing that drives the belt, that drives the unloading auger there, has indeed worn through and is completely done. And in turn, that has completely snapped the belt that the unloading auger is driving through. So as it stands, I can pull the auger out, but I cannot do anything with it, which is just delightful. Now, I had Jess carting for me today, and we're looking into, I've already rung the nearest dealer, and of course they don't have anything. It's just typical, just the way harvest has been and is going. So they are out. I'm speaking to somebody. They can get me the bearing pretty quickly. I think they'll get that by the end of today, maybe tomorrow morning. So either way, that's going to kind of derail harvest for a little bit for today. Now the pulley itself, or the bearing, is a different question there. We're going to have to try and ship that in from further afield. So that is being looked into now, and I'm probably going to get Jess to take the pickup truck once I get back to the yard there, and she is going to go on a little bit of a drive for me and go and pick up a new one from somewhere which is over, which is quite a trek actually. A good couple of hours away. I'm just waiting to get a call back to see if they have it. But all that means is that we're going to be pretty stuck. So I've got plenty of other bits and pieces to do. Today we're doing something that I didn't really anticipate back in May, June. Didn't really anticipate this would be a thing, but there we are. We're going to have to crack on with it. So I'm just going to leave the combine outside here, park it down in the dip in the far corner. That way it is kind of away from everyone's prying eyes on the road. You can't see it at all. Let's just lower you down. Very, very frustrating that we're well, we've been hampered again. If it's not the weather, it's something else. Some great clouds coming over, but they weren't really causing me any problems, and we made a good start, but not anymore. But yeah, so that's a snookered for now, and not going to be able to get on it at all for the rest of the day. I got the pickup truck over the top end here though, with the header trailer attached to it. We'll leave the header trailer here for now, and then we're going to take this back to the yard. We're actually going on the road trip. We're taking the 6630 and we're heading out, so we're going to get on, and we got to go pick up a delivery. We're going to actually back close to Meadow Grove, would you believe it? We're going to go for a little bit of a drive over to, and there's a reason behind this which we will get into, but yeah, we've got to go for a bit of a drive this time around to get it, so that's what we're going to do. But first, yeah, we're just going to go make a bit of a trip. So let's get on. We have this field to go with over here as well. They're both moisture-wise looking very good, which is incredibly frustrating. The weather's holding okay for the next few days, so we might be okay to get this done as long as we get everything back in tomorrow. I've been told that the fitter said that as soon as they have it, they'll be with us in the morning, so that's one small crumb of comfort, I guess. But yeah, it's just a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. So what we'll do, I'm gonna take the truck over, and we'll get Jess all set up as well. She is coming in to help me out again today with a bit of carting, because we're a little bit further away from the yard, as you can tell, and don't really want to have to do all that on my own. And onwards and upwards we go. So let's just head on back to the yard and get this all get ourselves all gathered together here and get a plan of attack set up. So you'll see, we're just opening the gate up there. We had that shut. The truck's in the back. Jess is going to get herself away. I'm already geared up here, ready to go. You'll see there's no Kubota anymore. That's gone. We finished with it. The demonstration has gone, and as has the hire of the big spreader. But yeah, that was a good little demonstration, that's for sure. Let's just slowly creep around there. A little bit tighter than I anticipate, but yeah, what we'll do is we're going to head on for a little bit of a drive. It's about a 30-minute drive each way. Maybe a bit more actually. No, it's a lie. It's 30 minutes in the car, really. It's going to be about best part of an hour in the tractor. But we'll get ourselves away there anyway. What we have been doing, we've been able to get the 3 silage fields around here. Got that muck and compost from the corner put onto those, which has been great to see. We were able to get some straw baled up yesterday. That was really handy actually. Got that all done, so we need to get that pulled, at least stacked into groups of 3s, probably today now, actually, once we get back. And then that will be ready to cart in. We'll probably leave it outside just to sweat out for a little bit longer. And then, yeah, we're going to go away and see what we can do. So there's a little bit of a drive on the way out there, but we'll get pushing through with that anyway. And then we will explain a little bit more about where we're going and why once we get to the other side. So we will see you in Meadow Grove, would you believe it or not. Well, welcome back, folks. We have made some great progress here. It's currently about 45 minutes after we set off. We're flying along. We're only about 10 minutes away. Now, we're actually heading back to the original store that was part of the, I guess, my main ag merchants, really, there. The place I bought all my seed from, fertilizer from, any different bits and pieces I need like that, we got it through there. Now, the reason we're going back there today is quite simple, really. It's fertilizer. Specifically, it's nitrogen. Now, when you're planning your next year's crops and you're budgeting and you're getting everything that you need, your seed, your fertilizer there, the fertilizer market's typically open in the middle of August-ish. And then you can buy everything you need there, and then you'll have it all in and you'll have it ready on hand and budgeted for, crucially, for the rest of the year. Now, give you a bit of a backstory to this, for the last several years really, it's always the price of nitrogen per ton has always been around about the £200 a ton mark. Now it may fluctuate, the river's high up here today, it may be £180 one year, maybe £220 one year, but you'd always budget in around that mark there. Some years you'd strike lucky, some years you wouldn't. So this year was no exception. I came to order my fertilizer, and usually I would use it on grassland for first cut silage and for all of the cereal crops that I drill. And the market opened at £350 a ton, which is already £150 more than we would have budgeted for, which was a bit of a shock, which pretty much means you're going to struggle to make any profit, certainly I would at least, from my cereal crops. So that was a bit of a surprise. I came back to it the next day there to check if it was the odd spike, and no, it's actually gone up even further to about £360 a ton. So I had to make a few quick decisions. I scoured around to see where I could find a better price from, if there was one. If it existed, it did not. And we had to make a few decisions. So we did. I bought a lot less fertilizer than I usually would, but I got in. Now I got in about £380 a ton. Not quite, sorry, £365 a ton was my closing out price, excluding haulage, because haulage is a different matter, which is why we're coming today for it. If you want to get someone to haul it at the moment, good luck, it's going to take a while to come. So I didn't want to use these folks here, I wanted to use someone a bit closer there, but the prices they were giving me were astronomical. So I came back to my trusty contact here, and lo and behold, he was able to get me a good price and actually get me fertilizer as well, which was crucial. So in we come. They've had a bit of an extension here now, which does look rather good. But this is mine in the corner here. We don't have much. We only have 18 bags, 18 ton of fertilizer, but that same 18 ton cost me about £6,500. Can you believe it? And it was fantastic timing, because the price has soon shot up. Now, if I was to buy this today, the current price per ton today for fertilizer is £650, which is just crazy to even think about here. So from a business sense, you can't make that work. It just does not work for you. These are 1 ton bags, as you can see, 1,000 kilograms on there. So each one of these would have been £650 a ton. Instead, we got it for about 365, which I'm still not pleased about, but it's manageable. And I think that's what we'll work with. What we're going to do is get this all loaded up here and get ourselves back away. I don't have a forklift license there, so we're going to have to get someone to come do this for me. And then we'll see if we can get this all away. But this is a real crunch issue that we're having within agriculture at the moment here. It is just so expensive to turn a profit, to make something work, to be viable. Especially when you're a little bit smaller like me. Now, we have decided a few different things here. What we're going to be doing is not putting any fertilizer down on our first cut silage. We're going to rely solely on our muck and slurry, which we'll have to see how that goes, but that does significantly reduce down the acreage that we have to cover. So we'll have to wait and see. We've got enough here just to cover what should cover most of our ground. But we'll have to see. It's cutting it very fine indeed there. If we have to scale back on how much we put in, then we will do that. A lot of the stubble ground will be getting a coating of muck on there as soon as we can as well. So that's something that we'll have to factor on in. But yeah, let's get this all loaded up. And then we'll have a look into seeing what that drive home looks like. Well then, there you are. There are our bags of gold loaded up and strapped onto the trailer there. We can't get them all on. We'll have to come back and get another 6. So we'll have to do that at some point. We've got 12 ton here. We'll have to come back probably for another load now or tomorrow. Depends on the combine and really see how we get going. But it's in. Now, like I say, it is just such so emblematic really of the problems that we face here with ag at the moment. A lot of costs are just soaring, absolutely uncontrollably soaring right now, be it the fertilizer costs, herbicide costs, could be machinery part costs as well there when you go in one direction and it's not down, unfortunately. And yeah, so all of these different inputs are all scaling up uncontrollably really. Let alone before you even start to think about the cost of machinery. We haven't bought a new tractor for a long time, and we won't be because it's so darn expensive to do so when you can find good value out there on the market for all the second-hand machinery, which is what we'll be intending to continue to do. So it's all of this has to be factored in, and it's no wonder that you see farms across the country, the smaller family-run farms are deciding that it's no longer viable for them to continue. And they're folding in, and they're selling up, and the land is being passed on to anybody really, anybody who's large enough to be able to swallow it in, which always means that eventually, as we just take our time, we're gonna go a slightly different way home. It always means that the larger farms that can dilute down those input costs, buy it in large numbers, buy in bulk there, and they're able to stomach it. It always means that they're going to get bigger and bigger, and the smaller independent farms are going to slowly all disappear, which is tragic really, but that's where we are, and there's not really much that can be done about it there, unfortunately. I would like to think that hopefully these fertilizer costs will subside very quickly, and they'll get to a point where they are able to come back down to what we'd want, even just around that 220 mark there. The top end of the price that we'd pay would be drastically better than £650 a ton right now. For us, we've changed our plan, like I was mentioning earlier there. We're not going to put any nitrogen on the grassland, so the quality of grass that we're going to be silaging is going to take a bit of a hit. But we just can't afford to put so much down there at the moment. We'll be putting this onto our cereal crops there. Again, the cost of our cereal crops production is going to really shoot up. Primarily, as I've mentioned many times, we harvest our cereal crops for the straw and the animal feed barley that we get off there. Because of the grade, it doesn't bring in a lot of money there. It covers our costs. Well, it did cover our costs. I'm not sure it will this year, but we'll have to see. But yeah, it is all many different factors that always have to be taken into consideration there, and it really does make things very hard, very difficult indeed. But yeah, we will have to follow this closely and see how it goes. The reasoning behind some of these drastic cost increases are many things. I think manufacturing costs of the fertilizer. I believe some of it could even be down to the production costs there. Logistics as well, and also huge demand of trying to get it all at once. I'm sure there's other reasons as well I haven't figured out yet, but it's just astronomical, and something has to be done about it. But yeah, that's what we're doing today. I'm hoping that we'll get a phone call very soon from Jess, just to let us know that she'll be able to go get the pulley that we need. The belt should be arriving tomorrow morning, so we can get back on with the combine as well. But for now, I'm just going to take my time with this load. It's a bigger load. We're going on some flatter ground here, and we'll see how we get on. But back to Meadow Grove, back to Chellington Valley we go, sorry, where we'll get this all unloaded and have to come back for another load tomorrow. But this is a little video I just want to show you really about the issues that we face as farmers at the moment with the climate and the economy. It's just a never-ending battle, and one that I think we're going to be struggling to... oh, I forgot about this road being a little bit tight. Let's just take that back. Yeah, just really the economic battle we're having and the decisions that we have to make at every single turn. But I hope you have enjoyed. My name has been Frank anyway. Do give this a big thumbs up if you have. Let me know your thoughts on it and the costs that you're currently struggling with and how you're getting around that one. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. Do stay safe, enjoy what you're doing as always, and we'll see you in the next one.